we are about to board the USNS Comfort. It's about to start a humanitarian mission.
We've got about 1,000 people that are motivated. They're excited to be a part of this mission.
She is the largest floating trauma facility in the world.
We're the best one.
This is basically the same as an emergency room?
Yes, sir.
You have everything that a hospital would have?
Yes, sir.
If we were to ever go to war, is this ship also for that?
Absolutely. Major combat operation is our primary mission.
Do you have to have weapons?
They're 24/7 manning while we are underway.
And this is where we store all of our blood for the mission. There was one baby that was born on board. She's 7 years old now. Shows the impact that the Comfort does.
Different countries are very gracious that we are there.
All right, we're here in Miami. It's a stormy day in Miami, but we are about to board the USNS Comfort. This is a massive humanitarian ship, basically a big floating hospital run by the Navy. It's about to start a humanitarian mission, head south to Central America and South America. As soon as the rain slows down, we're getting on. Thank you guys for having us. Yeah, awesome.
My name is HM2 Javel Glover. So first and foremost, I want to welcome all of you aboard probably the greatest hospital ship that the U.S. has to offer. So we have the Mercy and the Comfort. We're the best one, just in case you guys didn't know, on the East Coast.
So most of us would argue that our own personal area is the heart and soul of the ship, but I truly believe it's the operating room. So like I said, I'm a perioperative nurse by trade, so this is actually where I work. On board here, we have 12 operating rooms, including one interventional radiology suite. As you see staged here today, it is set up for what is called a laparoscopic case, where we use camera and carbon dioxide. We fill up the belly and we perform surgery minimally invasive. So that's smaller incisions for the patient and thus a shorter, faster recovery. So on board we have a multitude of capabilities for surgery, anything from general to plastics, gynecology, urology. What's unique for the Continuing Promise mission is we had what's called pre-deployment site survey teams that went out, the PDSS teams. They assessed the local ministries of health to determine what the largest needs were, and that is how we determined what procedures that we will be offering for this mission. We are anticipating a lot of ophthalmology cases, so doing cataract surgery and things of that nature, general surgery, hernia repairs, gallbladder removals. For plastics, we may be doing some cleft lips, as well as scar revisions if there are contractures, and pediatric general surgery, so a lot of hernias and things of that nature. So fully functioning operating room, and if you haven't noticed, I will say that the setup of our flow from CASRAC to the OR is optimal. And what I mean by that is, in particular, if we have a trauma or emergency scenario, the ER is situated right next to radiology, to the blood bank, and then right into the operating room. I have never in a stateside hospital been so close to a blood bank, so that gives me a lot of security in the event that we need to give blood products to a patient. So as Captain mentioned, we're going to be running on a day-to-day during this mission 2 operating rooms, and we're hoping to do somewhere between 16 and 20 procedures per day.
How many operating rooms like this one are there?
There are 12 total.
Okay.
Yes, on board.
Is this the same as a hospital operating room?
It is. I mean, there are some nuances. I will tell you that we have D-rings on the ground, and that is it's unique to being on a ship because we have to secure all of our equipment for sea, so stuff doesn't roll around and get damaged. So when we are actually in each of the port stops performing surgery, we will remove those straps. But once we get back underway, we need to strap everything back into place. So the D-rings makes it a little bit of a challenge. You got to remember they're there, but for safety's sake, we paint them yellow just so there's a visual. In addition, our OR lights, there's this contraption up here where we can lock the lights in place, because otherwise in a standard OR that isn't moving around, you can just pull the lights here and there. We need to be able to secure them up so they don't go swinging when we're underway.
Is there ever a situation where you would have to do a surgery while moving?
There can be, certainly. So in addition to our planned patients on shore, we also are full up 24/7 to serve the crew. So in the event that we have a Navy personnel on board that has like an acute appendicitis, we can take them to the OR and remove their appendix, just as an example. Or if there's a trauma, someone falls down a ladder well and ends up with a large cut that needs to be sutured, we can do that as well.
So I'm assuming that the mission, I mean not the mission in general, but like maybe the procedures that you're expecting, you said they change like based on
They can change from mission to mission. So it kind of goes off of, our folks, they travel down, they work with the ministries of health to figure out like what the needs are. So if there's a backlog in a particular surgery, whether it be either they don't have the provider available, they don't have the equipment available, then we're able to hone in on those particular procedures. So we're expecting a lot of gallbladders, a lot of hernias, a lot of cataracts. And while those procedures may seem like everyday run-of-the-mill simple surgeries to us in the United States, they can be life-changing for these folks if they've been living with a very uncomfortable hernia for years. Or typical in the United States, you have one gallbladder attack, you go to the ER and you get your gallbladder taken out. Some of these folks have been living with chronic gallbladder disease for 5+ years. We have a fully functioning sterile processing department upstairs. So they do everything from decontaminate and clean the instruments, which renders us able to hold them with our bare hands. And then they go through a very meticulous process to test and visualize each of those instruments before repackaging them and sending them through the sterilizers, and then they're ready for the next procedure. Next on our tour here, this is what we refer to as the Blue Mile. Typically during the day it is a hustling and bustling corridor, but here, as you can see, we have our cases here where we display a multitude of things, whether they be trophies, flags, plaques that have been presented from different places that we have been over the years. Different countries are very gracious that we are there, and they like to give us things as a thank you, and then we proudly display them. One thing that I want to point out here is this photo. So I did give you a little bit of a history before of the ship. So like I said, she was previously an oil tanker, and then she spent from 1984 to 1987 in the shipyard being completely overhauled and converted into the hospital ship that she is today. So essentially, they opened her up like a tuna can and dropped in the hospital module.
Wow.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Next thing that I want to point out down here, it's actually going to be on this wall. Okay. So this photo here this is the only known aerial photo of the USNS Mercy and the USNS Comfort floating next to each other. This was during Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm back in 1990. Now, there has been a change in the exterior of these ships since then, and it's not just the flight deck or addition of a helo hangar. One big difference here is the fact that today the Comfort has a red cross centered on the front, whereas the Mercy has one that is offset to the side. Now, there was a reason that they did it that way. The pilots during this campaign, it was like, okay, I'm gonna fly back to the Comfort, and they're like, which one is the Comfort? They could, from up top, they couldn't see, so that's what they chose to do. So today we got ours centered, and the Mercy is off to the side, so it provides a visual difference.
Very cool.
Awesome. So other things that we do have on board, because of course, especially once we're underway, the crew is living here. So there is a barber shop on board, there are 2 gyms on board, there's a chapel that provides religious services on board, there's ship's laundry on board, we have a ship store that sells like a multitude of things like laundry soaps and extra shower shoes if people need them.
Do you have to have weapons? Like if you're out, in an area that could be unsafe, like is there like a security component?
Yes, so we do have a Marine detachment that is on board and is for defense only.
Okay.
Yes, so they're 24/7 manning while we are underway. So over here, this is our historical wall that shows all of the different hospital ships throughout history. As you can see here, the Red Rover, 1862 to 1865. Now that looks like a really cool adventure, if I do say so myself. But of note, the USNS Mercy and the USNS Comfort, as they are today, it is not the first time that there has been a hospital ship with those names. So if we come down here, example, AH-6 from 1944 to 1996 was also named the Comfort. Cool. And then of note here, Prayer from the Navy Wounded. This was written by a Navy commander. They actually incorporated the names of all of the previous hospital ships in this poem. So, the Comfort, she's a little old. She's coming up, she's about 50 years old at this time. So there actually is talks and plans in the works for replacement ships. So they did just build a new class of hospital vessels, the TAH-X class. So that's going to be the Balboa, the Portsmouth, and the Bethesda. Those are meant to be a smaller, more like a water ambulance to get to places much faster than we can as a very large, slow-moving vessel. But then in addition, the Comfort and the Mercy have been extended now through 2036, and they're planning on having a little bit smaller vessels, but having more of them to meet the needs across the globe. Because as of right now, like, we're on the East Coast and the Mercy is on the West Coast, and just being that it's a small, older vessel, we don't move all that fast. So in order to improve our capabilities and maneuverability throughout the waters, that is in the works. So say if we have folks on board that, have some sprained ankle or something like that, and they require physical therapy just to get back in the fight, as opposed to having to medevac them off, then we're able to provide that, as well as to patients during humanitarian efforts.
Hello everyone, I'm HM3 Burrow. This is the ICU. Just a little bit about myself. I've been in for 5 years. I'm originally from South Louisiana. I'm pretty proud of that, not gonna lie. And then recently, I went to Pensacola as my first command, and then moved up to Virginia to the USNS Comfort. So, just a little bit about the ICU. We have 4 ICUs, one of which is included in our isolation room. We can hold up to 100 patients up here, and then we also own 16 wards, which we can hold about 800 more patients down there. One really cool thing about the ICU is that you see these huge O2 tanks up here. We can hook them up to one of these towers, and it'll fill all 4 ICUs simultaneously. And that can last, depending on how many patients are on oxygen, it can last for quite a while. We can do pretty much anything a hospital can do. We have our portable pro packs, which we can take off, put with a patient, and transfer them around the ship as needed. We can bring them down to the wards, back to the OR. We have suction, we have oxygen. We have some baby cribs over there, so we can treat little infants. You may notice that it looks a little bit different than the normal ICU at a hospital. There's no patient privacy. We can do that to try to maintain space, get as many people in here as we can, but we do have some patient curtains if the family wants alone time with their loved ones. It looks kind of, there's like, oh, this is a lot of space, but when we have ventilators or like all of our nursing staff, family, translators, it gets pretty busy, pretty loud in here. Then you also may notice that we don't have call bells, so we have to really keep an eye on our patients. Currently, we're keeping our Braslo bags, which are the crash cart for babies, in it, just because we don't have any patients. But you just pull up, squeeze, pull down, put your little infant in there, and then you just lock them back up. Just in case, like the ship rocks or anything like that, toddlers stand up, they won't fall out. Oh yeah, we've had a ton. There was one baby that was born on board, I think she's 7 years old now. And she recently did a tour where they found, like in the PACU, they found her exact place where she was born, and they found like the exact crib. It was so cute. The whole family was crying, and it was just something amazing to be a part of. It really shows the impact that the Comfort does. It's pretty cool.
So babies that have been born.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the privacy of it.
Yeah, so right behind you we have these portable patient curtains. They're secured for sea right now, but they kind of just open up like that, and then we can put them in between each bed as needed if there's like 2 family members or they need as much space. We have life jackets over there in the corner. We have a couple of those in each ICU, just in case something bad happens. Our patients are covered, we're covered. We have emergency breathing devices also in case we need an exit. We have the emergency breathing devices back here. It's like little mini O2s.
All right, so right now we do this thing called securing for sea, which is why you see these ratchet straps here. So we want to make sure that none of our equipment goes flying all over the place when we're traveling around. So that's why we have the ratchet straps up. But this is the portable equipment. It would take a second for me to pull everything out. But if you want to see close-ups of everything, we have the defibrillators. We've got a rapid infuser over here. We've got an aspirator over here and a ventilator here. Then over here, we have several infusion pumps which are capable of, if you have an IV inside of somebody, those are capable of, it's like a computerized method of delivering fluids to somebody. So you can set your fluid rate and all that stuff using an infuser. It just takes the human aspect out of giving fluids. Okay, this one will be fine. All right, so these monitors here, you can turn them on with this button up here. I know you can't really see the button, but turn it on and then you're gonna get a full display. And since I don't have a patient, you won't be able to see all the different things. But here are all the different things that will be monitored for each patient. Like this is the very basics of what will be monitored for a patient. So you'll have their heart rate, their blood pressure, their non-invasive blood pressure, which just means putting a blood pressure cuff on somebody. And then we have their respirations, which can be tracked when you set up your EKG leads, and SpO2, which is somebody's oxygen, their oxygen saturation. So this will keep track of someone's oxygen saturation, this device here. And then we have this blood pressure cuff. And then inside the blood pressure cuff, we keep the EKG leads. So it's a 4-lead EKG.
So this is basically the same as an emergency room, would you say?
Yes, sir.
You have everything that a hospital would have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, and then another cool thing that we have is these shower heads, for lack of a better term. So what those are for is if there's a patient that has an excess amount of blood on them, or if a patient had some kind of contaminant on them, then we could flush it off of them. And then we have drains inside of every single bay. There's drains so that all that fluid can run down there. And additionally, that's what these little barriers are for, so that if there's ever any flooding within these bays, then it won't leak out onto the deck, and then it'll just go down the drain. There's a drain on both sides. All right, so this is aft CASREC. It's a little noisier in here, so I'll speak a little louder. An aft CASREC, it can be set up for a multitude of things. So if we do, I know I didn't really talk about it, but if we do a mass casualty, aft CASREC has a pretty big significance. During a mass casualty, this is where all the patients will funnel in through this area, and there'll be a triage officer. We have all these signs up to make it simple. There'll be a triage officer that assesses the patient, and then they'll check in here. That's a whole big process. But the cool thing about aft CASREC is that whatever the needs of the mission are, that's what aft CASREC can be set up for. I mean, the same thing applies to forward CASREC too, but aft CASREC more so. Just so whatever the mission needs, we can set aft CASREC up for. There's a bunch of training stuff in here right now, because obviously since we're getting ready for a mission, there's a big emphasis on training all of our medical personnel and even our non-medical personnel. So that's why you guys see all these mannequins and stuff behind me. Yes, ma'am. All these mannequins that you see are used for training. These are high fidelity mannequins, so they actually have an iPad that hooks up to them, and then you can like control their breathing. You can make them blink. You can perform interventions on them. You can do like chest tubes. You can do cricothyroidotomies. You can do IVs to them. Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff. Yes.
Please come in. All right. Everyone, please come in. We have plenty of rooms. Hi, afternoon everyone. My name is HM2 Makatuno. I'm stationed at USNS Mercy. I'm TAD over here with the USNS Comfort in support of the CP-25 mission. I'm one of the 7 radiology technologists on board the USNS Comfort. So this is our CT scanner on board the Comfort itself. This is one of the 2 naval vessels that is capable of doing CT on the underway on the ocean. So our capabilities for this, we are able to do any cardiac scans, neurology scans. We are able to do 3D reconstructions with our CT machines. And then if anything they need head CT, we're able to do it underway and also in port for this one. We do have 4 diagnostic rooms. 2 of them are fluoro, which is the live x-rays that you see all the time. And then we have 5 portable machines that we are able to take on the ICU, the intensive care unit, the wards, the post-anesthesia care unit, and also the CASUALITY that you just saw over there. And then we are also capable of doing interventional radiology, so that anything that deals with your vessels, your veins, we are able to do it on board over here. And then we are also able to include 5 C-arms, which we take on the OR rooms in case they need any x-rays during the surgery itself. Take a look around.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm HM2 Law. I am the blood bank LPO on the Comfort here. So the Comfort performs basic type and screen and antibody identification in the blood bank. We're capable of holding about 3,000 units of blood, and we keep them all frozen. And the way we get them to liquid is a process called deglycerization. So we take those units, wash them a few times, and they're good to go to transfuse to patients. And our whole mission is to support our surgical services on board, which is where you guys will be going next.
So do you have a lot of blood here right now?
Right now we have 450 units. It depends on the patient. Patients can take up to 50 units if they're that traumatized, but some patients just need 1 or 2 to get their hemoglobin up.
All right. Enough to last the whole mission?
Yes, for humanitarian, yep. Huh? Oh yeah, you can come in if you want. This is where we would perform all of our testing for our patients. And this is the window where we would receive any requests from anybody. And here we store all of our blood. You wanna come over here? So this is our liquid blood. And then back here is all of our frozen. So this is where we would deglyss, turn frozen into liquid blood. And then back here, these freezers are kept at -80. And this is where we store all of our blood for the mission.
Good afternoon. I'm Rear Admiral Rich Lofgren. I'm the Vice Commander for U.S. Naval Forces Southern Command and 4th Fleet down in Mayport. So on behalf of Admiral Sardiello and 4th Fleet, we're thrilled that you're here. We're thrilled for the opportunity to showcase this incredible ship, and have the opportunity for us to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing for the next almost 70 days as we think about working with our partners down in Latin America and South America, and then transiting through the Panama Canal 2 different times. So we're really excited about being able to talk about the capabilities, how we're going to work with our partners and friends, down south in the neighborhood, and have the opportunity for these two gentlemen to tell you a little bit about what each of their teams are doing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Commodore Ryan Kendall, who's the Commodore for Destroyer Squadron 40.
Good afternoon. My name is Captain Ryan Kendall. I'm the Commodore for Desron 40, Commander Task Force 45, Commander Task Force 49. I'm extremely happy to be here. We are heading out on this fantastic mission, Continuing Promise 2025. This is the 16th Continuing Promise, the 8th Continuing Promise on the USNS Comfort, and we are heading downrange to Central South America, visiting our partners and allies, bringing some impactful aid and delivering just some great health care, along with some other things. We have 3 lines of effort during this mission. So first line of effort is medical care. Our second line of effort is humanitarian assistance, disaster response. And our third line of effort is public engagements, key leader engagements. This goes with our U.S. Navy band. We are CBs that are going to be building some projects down there to help some schools and build some meaningful projects in communities that don't get the care and attention that they otherwise would get without the comfort of arriving down there. And we've got about 1,000 people that are motivated. They're excited to be a part of this mission. Many of them, this is their first deployment, and this is the first time that they're going to be in Central and South America, and they're looking forward to delivering this world-class health care and some other items and things to help our partners down south.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Stephen Arles, Commanding Officer of the USNS Comfort Medical Treatment Facility. Comfort is one of 2 U.S. military hospital ships. We are the largest in the world. We provide afloat, mobile, acute, medical, and surgical facilities in any area of responsibility as directed. At full operating status, we can maintain 11 operating rooms, 1 interventional radiology suite, 80 intensive care unit beds, 400 acute care beds, and 500 low acuity beds, 4 dental operatories, 2 oral surgery surgical suites, as well as a broad array of clinical support services, including laboratory, radiology, pharmacy, and physical therapy. As Captain Kendall mentioned, this is the 8th deployment of the Comfort for Continuing Promises missions since 2007. Our current mission set includes a 100-bed capacity with 2 operating rooms capable of producing 12 to 18 surgical cases per day. We have expeditionary ashore medical and dental clinics that will be providing care in country to the tune of about 300 to 500 patients per day. As a team, we'll work in cooperation with the host nations, state partnership programs, and non-federal entities to deliver world-class, partner-led medical care, to expand and refine regional capabilities supporting humanitarian crises, disaster relief, and regional conflict. CP25 has been more than a year in the planning. My team and I are very excited about getting on mission, getting downrange, and providing life-altering medical care and training. Thank you.
In terms of the surgeries you were talking about, is there a certain type of medical care that this trip will specialize in, or is it just all sorts of different things?
As part of the pre-planning process, we identified lists of surgical cases that would be most appropriate. So we are doing general surgery cases, pediatric surgery, plastic surgery, and eye surgeries.
And this is obviously a humanitarian mission. If we were to ever go to a war where you needed to be treating like soldiers, is this ship also for that? Absolutely.
Yeah, our major combat operation is our primary mission, and that's when we're to expand to full operating status and add additional surgical and medical specialties.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.